Good afternoon.
All right. Mr. Andrew, are we ready to go here?
Yeah, I believe we are. When we get to the point of the executive session, I'll create breakout rooms and assign the board members. And then you'll get an invitation pop up. It'll say, you've been invited to join a session. Click that. It'll take you into it. And then when y'all are done, it gives you an option to leave the breakout room or to leave meeting. Just click leave breakout room, and it'll take you back to the main meeting. But you can take it away.
I know we're waiting on, or we don't have Commissioner Fountain or Commissioner Sullivan here. You see either one of those, or am I missing them?
I do not see them at this time.
As I say that, Commissioner Sullivan is popping on now.
Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Sullivan, good afternoon.
How you doing, sir?
Good.
Mr. Fountain said he would
maybe
join
another
by
minute.
phone. He's going to join by phone.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll get started at this point in time. I've got 12:03. I guess I should say, let me pull up my board agenda document first.
I sent a text to Dick, but he hasn't replied yet.
Okay.
I just got a
All right.
to make it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that helps us. We'll get started then. All right. We'll call this meeting to order. I want to make sure everybody can hear okay. Do I have a delay? Am I okay? Mr. McGinnis, you can hear me okay?
I can hear you. You good?
Okay, good. I've got some sporadic internet issues going on here, so I'm hoping that they stay at bay, at least until we finish up here. So we're going to call the meeting to order, and this time we'll do a roll call, see who we have present. Commissioner Bolte?
Bolte's here.
Sullivan's here.
All right, Commissioner Sullivan. All right, Commissioner Willie.
Here.
All right, and Commissioner Fountain is unable to join us. So we have a quorum at this time. So if anyone's interested, I'm interested in entertaining a motion to approve last board meeting minutes.
I'll do a motion to approve.
Commissioner Willie has moved to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Commissioner Sullivan is second. Any discussions, additions, modifications, corrections needed for the minutes? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor of approving last month's board meeting minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, those opposed, nay? All right, the ayes have it, the minutes pass. Thank you so much for putting those minutes together. At this time, we'll go into, I assume there's no old business. I haven't heard of any old business, so we'll go on to new business. Director McGinnis.
Thank you, sir. We'll jump right into it. You are kind of delaying a little bit there, so we'll try to go ahead and speed up as much as possible. I'll start with financial services and turn it over to Teresa Wade. Chase, it's on you.
Good afternoon. My first item is the presentation of cumulative low-income housing finance report for December 31st, 2020. The targeted percent is 75%, explaining variances of 10% or greater on the line item. Total revenue overall is at 75.79%. Other tenant charges, the late fees did not start until October 20. This line item will be under budget. Other income, the favorable variance is due to Balch Road development fee. Moving down the page to administration, explaining audit expenses, the final bill has been received and this line item should be within budget. Legal expenses are under budget due to the moratorium of evictions of residents. And the last item is advertising and marketing. The advertising and marketing expenses due to a lower budget of utilizing lower cost advertising through Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Excuse me. Moving forward to the second page of the financials, explaining relocation. The Butler Terrace Edition demo has been approved. Those relocation costs in the budget will be used to relocate Northwoods residents due to the ceiling repairs. Also moving further down the page to maintenance, labor and benefits. There was one remaining maintenance supervisor position as of December 31st. That has been filled, and there are 8 open positions as of December 31st, 2020. Also moving to material costs, due to COVID, the maintenance staff has limited access to units and continue to only respond to emergency work orders. Moving forward to the next page of the financials, collection loss expense. The board has approved $54,091. That has been offset by collections from MIS and tenants of $37,880. As I spoke to before, the tenant accounts receivable balance at December 31st is $109,224. We will have write-offs for fourth quarter, so that line item will increase. Moving down to capital asset addition, the approved budget for maintenance vehicles all have been received, and the 3 additional vehicles were approved in January have also been received and will be reflected in the February financials. Overall, at this time, our increase in net position is $1,028,003 in compared to a budget of $151,328. Also attached is the breakdown by site of the reflection of their financials for December 31st, 2020. Do you have any questions about these financials at this time? Okay. As the second item is the presentation of the CARES Act funding for the period ended December 31st, 2020. As you can see, overall, $17,000 was spent in the month of December, and that breaks down to administrative temp labor that is needed, some other office expenses, childcare costs that have been paid. We have also paid for maintenance, also purchasing PPE purchases as necessary, and the December security expenses that have been incurred. Director McGinnis and I have talked about the plan for the remaining balance of the CARES Act funding, and that will be spent on PPE as needed. Also, he is looking at bringing additional support to the children moving forward for his school is concerned. So I'll let him address that. And we will have these monies spent by December 31st, 2020, because CARES Act funding funds can be spent on our usual expenses that we incur. But we really want to benefit the residents with these remaining dollars. And that is my presentation for this time. Thank you.
Any questions or comments? Thank you, Teresa. We appreciate the report. At this time, we will have Keisha present.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me well? Do I sound okay, Tony?
You're good. Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, great. I have one item for the board this month. I'm requesting you all to act on a resolution authorizing the executive director to enter into a temporary crane swing easement to 225 Homes LLC for building construction. 225 Homes LLC has purchased the land next to Central Office, and they will be constructing a 5-story office building. And so they've reached out to us and requested an easement so that they can have a construction crane on their property during the construction of their building. And so I've attached the agreement in full to your board documents. And I also would like to reiterate that the agreement has been reviewed and approved by legal counsel. And they've given us the approval as to form and content of the document for execution. This item is resolution number 221-09. Are there any questions?
You said this is resolution 221-09?
Yes, I believe that's correct. Do you see something else, Commissioner Smith? Am I mistaken?
I'm just trying to line up the agenda items with kind of the presentation here. So we sometimes have the page numbers for where the resolution is within the packet. I'm just searching that down right now.
It's
Anybody have?
It's 2021-09.
09.
2021-09. Okay. All right. Thank you. So we have a resolution that's been, or a request to act on a resolution 2020-09, authorizing the executive director to enter into an agreement for a crane swing easement with 225 Homes LLC. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll move to approve resolution 2021-09.
Commissioner Bolte moved. Any seconds?
I'll second.
We have a second by Commissioner Sullivan. Anyone have any further discussion for Deputy Executive Director Rich? All right, hearing none, call the question. All those in favor of approving the resolution 2021-09, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Hearing none, ayes have it, the resolution passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Keisha. We'll go right into housing operations. Terry?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
We can.
You
Yes.
good? Okay, thank you. I only have one item for the board to consider this afternoon. It is an approval of a revision of the admissions and continued occupancy policy. That's the ACOP for public housing. This is required to be adopted per HUD guidelines and updated as items change within the policies according to HUD and according to other things that happen within the housing authority. There was a summary of the changes that will be included in the updates for the ACOP. They are generally the same ones that you considered last year, right after HUD came up with changes to the ACOP in order to deal with COVID-19 and the changes that were necessary. They regard having hearings that are online. There are extensions for repayment plans. There are some changes that came from HUD not connected to COVID-19 that dealt with fair housing, also assistance animals, and some changes to the earned income deductions. Does anyone have any questions?
Hey, Terry, this is Jim Bolte. Thank you. I noticed these are effective February 1st, but we're just now approving them. Is there any reason we don't bring it to the board in January, or is this normal?
We were going to bring it to the board in January, but I had some difficulties getting the documents downloaded. Normally, in any given year, they would have been January the 1st, but I was not able to access them in time for the board meeting. They were already completed. They were part of the public hearing process, so they could have come when Keisha brought the annual changes, the annual plan to the board in January.
Okay, thanks.
So if there's no questions or any other questions, I'd like the board to consider the approval of a revision of the admissions and continued occupancy policy, ACOP, for public housing. That would be resolution 2021-10.
Board, you've heard resolution 2021-10 presented and the request to act on it. Anyone want to motion to act on this resolution?
A motion for approval.
Okay, Commissioner Sullivan, any second?
I'll second it. Sorry.
I heard Commissioner Bolte was seconded, followed by a third by Commissioner Willie. So any further discussions? Anyone have any further questions for Ms. Boyd? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor of approving resolution 2021-10, revisions to the admissions and continued occupancy policy, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it. The resolution passes. Thank you, Ms. Boyd.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. We'll go on to Human Resources, Ms. Jones.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Thank you. Good afternoon again, commissioners and staff. The request that Human Resources has for board action is presenting a resolution for approval to amend Huntsville Housing Authority's Personnel Policy Manual, revising policy number C09, vacation and accrual. As we go through the request for board action, the Huntsville Housing Authority's Personnel Policy Manual, policy number C09, vacation and approval, needs to be amended to reflect that the executive director / CEO will no longer allow employees to carry over vacation hours. All hours in excess of 240 will be forfeited the last pay period of the fiscal year. Employees must use the vacation hours or lose or forfeit them. Vacation should be taken in 10-hour increments whenever possible. Amounts of less than 10 hours may be granted in quarter-hour increments. And the purpose and objective of this action is to request the board to approve amending HHLE's personnel policy, revising policy number C09, vacation and accrual. The justification for this is previously employees who requested a carryover of vacation hours in excess of 240 could be given approval by the executive director, CEO, to do so. In order to decrease the overall payroll liability the executive director, CEO, will no longer approve a carryover of hours in excess of 240. The economic impact is not known at this time. There are no applicable alternatives. There is an attachment to this document. It's the policy CO9, vacation and approval. In the policy, if you see strike-throughs, that means it has been deleted. If you see highlighting, that's new information that has been added to the policy. Also, we were working 8 hours a day, but now we're working the 10 hours. So therefore, we changed the policy to reflect to under scheduling on page 37 of your document. It says each employee is responsible for requesting that vacation time be scheduled. In general, vacation should be taken in 10-hour increments whenever possible. Amounts of less than 10 hours may be granted in the quarter-hour increments. The recommendation is that the executive director, CEO, recommends that the amendment to HHA's personnel policy manual, revising policy number CO9, vacation and accrual, be adopted. Are there any questions?
I had one question, but Ms. Jones, I think you answered it already. I was like, why would you take 10 increments? But you answered it because y'all work 10 hours a day now. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Ms. Jones, does everybody work 10-hour days, or are there some people only working 8-hour days?
No, everyone works 10-hour days. That's our schedule.
So if we ever go back to an 8-hour day, we'll have to change the policy again?
Yes, sir.
I see. Thank you.
Any other
Okay.
questions?
Thank you, Ms. Jones. One of the things I failed to mention, which I should have at the beginning of this, is that we have a pre-board meeting, and these resolutions are presented to the commissioners at the pre-board meeting, just so that we're aware of the resolutions getting ready to be discussed and acted on. And we have an opportunity at that time to ask questions to get further details. So while it seems like we are rushing through this and without much in-depth discussion, do know that we've had a chance to hear these resolutions and ask questions, not act on them, of course. The purpose of the board meeting is to act on them. But just do want to make that be known for the record.
Thank you.
That means,
And I'm requesting that resolution number 2021-11 be approved.
Okay. Commissioners, you've heard requests to act on resolution 2021-11, amending the Huntsville Housing Authority's personnel policy manual, revising it in reference to vacation and accrual. Do I have a motion?
I have a
motion for approval.
All right, I heard a motion from Commissioner Willie, and was that a second I heard from you, Commissioner Sullivan?
That'll work.
It's been properly motioned and second. Any further discussions or questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving resolution 2021-11, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, the resolution passes. Thank you, Ms. Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Now we'll have Paula Bingham.
Here I am. Okay, good afternoon. I would like to ask for you to act on a resolution authorizing the executive director to enter into a contract with Quadell Consulting and Training for the development of standard operating procedures and performance measures for the public housing and Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher programs. On October 21st, 2020, Huntsville Housing Authority issued a request for proposals for the procurement of standard operating procedures and performance measures consulting. This RFP was issued to ensure HHA's public housing and Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher programs operate at the highest level of efficiency and effectiveness for its current and future needs and requirements, including directives on operations in the event that staff are unable to work on site, like today. The purpose of this action is to hire a firm to provide services to HHA that will result in the development and execution of SOPs and performance measures. The deadline for submission of proposals was November 19th. However, an addendum was issued to extend that deadline to December 10th, 2020. We received 6 proposals, and there were 3 of us on the evaluation committee, and Quadell Consulting was deemed the highest rated proposer as a result of the evaluation process. And we have listed the evaluation results on your RBA. The fees for the consulting services contract will not exceed $62,205. And I would like to, again, thank Tony and Keisha for the investment in our staff and understanding our need for SOPs. We've needed this for a long time, and we're really excited. Terry and I are excited to be able to get this for our staff. It's going to be time invested by our staff to make sure that we get what we need in the SOPs. We'll have to work with the consultant, of course, but we're just really excited to be able to have this. So with your approval, this is Resolution 2021-12.
All right, thank you, Ms. Bingham. We have a resolution that's been presented to the commissioners, Resolution 2021-12, authorizing the executive director to enter into a contracting agreement with Quadell Consulting, in reference to SOPs. Anyone want to present a motion on this resolution?
I have a quick question. How long is the contract with them, the Quadell?
When we execute the contract, they say they'll be finished within 90 days.
Okay, thank you. And I'll go ahead and do a motion to approve if no one has any more questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Willie. We have a motion on the floor. Any second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Sullivan, second. So anyone have any further discussions before we call the question? Any discussions or questions for Ms. Bingham? Before we call the question, I just want to say I do believe that this is a great step to be taking to establish some SOPs. I'm a big SOP and strategic plan and goals and outcomes type of person, and I think any well-running organization has good SOPs to help guide folks and takes away some of the ambiguity and some of the uncertainty, and as a result, some of the risk associated. So good to see this. I just want to say that and appreciate taking effort.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. With that being said, all those in favor of Resolution 2021-12, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Hearing none, ayes have it. Resolution 2021-12 passes. Thank you, Ms. Bingham.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. McGinnis, you got anything to report out to us?
Real quickly, I wanted to share with the board so that you all will be aware of what's going on, and eventually probably want to bring you all in as we continue to develop our Envision Center over in Northwoods. We're actually working with Drake State, the Boys and Girls Club, and the Village of Promise because they already have contracts with the city to perform services over in that area, we're going to start working with them and identifying what they will do as it relates to the 4 pillars. But as we move forward and try to bring more people in and get more space to provide more services over in that area, we'll keep the board informed on what's going on and any challenges we might have as we try to identify more space to work with the families and the young people who are in that community. Drake has really been great in wanting to move forward. So they're going to have a career fair in March during spring break to identify some of the programs that they will offer during their time in the Envision Center. So we'll let you all know when that is going to take place, the times. We're still trying to finalize that. We also will have a timeline for the board within the next couple of weeks of how our strategic planning is going to lay out. So I'll make sure to send you all some information on the timeline about the strategic planning efforts. We also are going to, Teresa mentioned this a little earlier, I've been going around to some of the different service providers, just kind of seeing how things are going toward the beginning of the year. And what I found is that we still have a lot of our young people in the communities who are having to go to different service providers for assistance with homework and getting online. And what I found is that the service providers still don't have enough support moving forward. So what we're going to do with our CARES Act funding is identify how long we can support those agencies and our residents in an effort to make sure that the young people who are in school have what they need. And I'm sure we'll have to go and get with legal and human resources once we have that timeline and those resources identified. We will then go back into contract and hire temporary employees again so that they can assist with the support for those service providers in those communities. And like I said, I just kind of been going out and looking, and there's definitely a need, and we really didn't know if we were going to be able to do it, but we've identified that we do have some resources to support those agencies. So we'll be working on that this week and hopefully getting something out so that we can get that started. And then last but not least, I wanted to update the board on a project that we're working with Alabama A&M and the Urban League of Birmingham. They're going to be providing food for our residents for the next 12 to 13 weeks, every weekend. And one of the things that I'll be doing is getting with our resident service staff, our resident service coordinator, and hopefully our residents council members to actually become volunteers and help support that effort, because they're going to support 6 of our neighborhoods every week. And they'll be providing food and groceries to every resident in those neighborhoods every week for the next 12, 13 weeks. It's a great opportunity for our residents, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to partner with Alabama A&M and the Urban League of Birmingham to make sure our residents receive the food that they need, especially during these trying times. So I'm excited about that, and I think this is going to be good for the community, and hopefully we'll be able to get the resident council involved so that they can provide the support for the volunteers that will be coming into the community. And we'll also, I'll get with Terry and Keisha to make sure our property managers know about it so that they'll be aware of what's going on in their communities, because often the date is going to be on a Saturday and they're only going to do a couple of hours on a Saturday. They're going to be in and out, passing out as many boxes as possible. And we'll still have our relationship with the Legacy Center. The Legacy Center is going to take care of the Johnson and Todd Towers, so it won't be a duplication of services. So with that, that's all I have to share.
Okay, anyone have any thoughts or comments for Director McGinnis? Well, Director McGinnis, I'll say good to hear about the initiatives you have going on, and excited to see that the initiative with the Urban League and Alabama A&M moving forward. When that was kind of presented and the folks that talked to me about it, I said, we've got an excellent executive director who can work with you to work through all the details and logistics and make sure that's successful. And it sounds like you're doing that. And so I think that's a great opportunity for us to do a collaboration with some key stakeholders in the community. It's good to hear. Okay. No other comments or no other, anything else to report, Director McGinnis? Looks like he's saying no. All right. So what we'll do, okay, good. I don't think we had anybody sign up for public comments. And is that correct, Mr. Andrew? Or to your knowledge, no one signed up for public comments?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. At this time, we will, yes, Commissioner Bolte?
I'd like to move that we move into executive session so we can discuss contract and some in general reputation and character of one of our employees. And so anyway, that's a motion.
Okay. We've got Commissioner Bolte make a motion that the board move into executive session to discuss something in reference to the reputation and character of an employee and discuss negotiations related to a contract. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Sullivan, second. Okay. All those in favor of going into executive session, please say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, we're going to go into executive session at this point. I think Mr. Andrew, and we would love for Attorney Raleigh to join us in executive session, if you don't mind. And we'll allow for Mr. Andrew to beam us to the break room.
Sure.
Invitations are forthcoming.
Mr. Chair.
Okay. Yes.
I have sent you and the other commissioners an opinion letter indicating that the reasons set forth for the executive session are, in my legal opinion, appropriate for an executive session. After the executive session is over, we will have to come back and reconvene this meeting. Sure. But that opinion letter should be attached to the minutes of the final minutes of the meeting when we finish that.
Thank you for that clarification, Attorney Raleigh. All right, I think we're ready to be zapped now. Neil.
Everybody else still in this meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Just checking.
Yes.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, Paula.
Dee's having trouble with her Citrix. I think she's emailed you. I told her you were in this meeting and it would be after the meeting.
She did. I told her I'll catch her after this meeting.
Okay. Hey, how do you make your background like the CBS newsroom? Like,
change it if you. We have to download any wallpaper or background.
no.
And then down at the bottom left where you see the video button, if you click the up arrow there,
Uh-huh.
right where it says stop video, there's like an up arrow.
Let's see. Choose virtual background. Cool. Okay, thank you.
Upload an image or whatever. I just picked, something that looked fancy.
All right.
Same for me. Over in the chat, there's a little description of what Neil just said. You look in chat for everybody. It's there in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
Now I'm in the sky.
Thank you.
Are you flying high, man?
Yeah, because the chat room's working, or the breakout room's working.
I'm so happy about that too. That was very stressful, but you know what? It's all about learning. That's why we all went to college. We figured out how to finish something.
That's right.
That's a neat one.
Just another brick in the wall.
So Neil, how does that work? Oh, that's great, Teresa.
Hey, you got it, Teresa. You got your
Wow, that's great.
Hey, Neil, did you get my emails that I sent you? Probably 10 of them.
I did.
Okay.
I was trying to get this meeting going, so I'll check them.
Thank you so much.
You were asking about the login information.
And I have it. And it just stopped working. I don't know. Like it won't even work on the old laptop because I have the old laptop here as well, and it won't even work on there.
Okay. All right. I'll send it to you after this.
Thank you.
I'll go double check it and make sure it's.
I like that one right there, Neil. It looks like you're in a bookstore.
That's right. That's my library. Yeah, I read
Yeah.
that. Sure. All those books. Actually, I guess I better be careful doing that. No telling what books those are. Felicia, did we tell them how long they should stay in executive session?
We didn't say a word about that. But you can give a warning. I think I remember reading that in the instructions. You can say you've got 2 minutes or, 10 minutes, 3 minutes. She forgot her Dallas Star.
Yeah, I figured she would like that one. I sent it to her earlier.
Oh, okay. I had a coffee shop background one time.
Yeah, there's a bunch of neat ones if you go look.
Okay, I think we're waiting on Commissioner Sullivan. There he is.
That's the first time I've done that. That's impressive. Sorry.
That's the Star Trek thing, just beam you to a different location.
Neil does a good job.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right.
Glad you guys
All right, we have exited executive session and the commissioners have had discussion in reference to some discussion on the executive director. And we now have a motion that has been put on the table that we have here for resolution 2021-13, amending the executive director's employment agreement. At this point in time, be willing to entertain any motion on that?
I'll motion.
Okay, Commissioner Sullivan, motions, any second?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Willie, second. If there's no further discussions, we will call for the question. All those in favor of approving resolution 2021-13, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? Hearing none, the resolution passes. Thank you. At this time, we will see if there's any comments from the commissioners. Anyone want to provide any comments? And we'll start with Commissioner Bolte.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say thanks to everybody again. You guys continue to do a good job. I'm enjoying the information sharing on social media. I've seen lots, whether it's what's going on with Oakwood and the vegetable and fruit distribution that's going on and other things. So continue to do that. I try to share those posts with as many people as I can, just for public awareness of what the Housing Authority is doing. So thank you for that. And just again, thanks for everybody's efforts. And I know most of you are working from home, so stay safe and separated and sanitized. And I will point out, Neil, thanks again for all the technical support. As people are working from home, it can go down the tubes pretty quickly if the technology doesn't work. So thank you a lot. That's all.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Willie, any feedback or comments?
Yes, I would pretty much like to piggyback off of Commissioner Bolte in saying thank you to Director McGinnings and the HHA staff. I have seen a tremendous amount of shares with HHA information, and when information is getting out, I can only imagine you guys don't have as many complaints or hassles. So great job to the marketing team, Miss Lindsay and Neil. And keep doing a great job. I'm excited about the Oakwood Farms as well and making the newsletter. I think it was the National Housing Authority article that we saw. So great job for being a part of that as well. And keep up the good work.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Willie. Commissioner Sullivan.
With all these kudos y'all getting, I guess I need to caveat that, but obviously thank you all for your work, and in reference to the CARES Act and the folks that you all have been able to pay to help assist some of the sister organizations, I guess I should share the fact that I know of a specific child whose grade level was increased by probably a grade due to the assistance that he received by attending one of our sister programs that received that type of funding. So thank you for that, and continue to do what you all do.
Thank you, Commissioner Sullivan. Similar to the other commissioners, I just want to say to everybody here from a team standpoint, great job, wonderful organization, doing a lot of great things. It's good to see the extra initiatives that are taking place right now to do more than just put a roof over people's heads, right? We've said this all along. The Housing Authority, even though the name is a misnomer because it seems like it just focuses on housing, we do so much more than that. And to be thinking that we're dealing with issues in terms of education and enriching people, getting them to a point to where they're able to be more self-sufficient and live their dreams and aspirations is a great thing to see. So that's not possible without this team. So good to see that. Thank you, everybody that's on here. Also very interested, Director McGinnis, on the strategic planning that we're going down. I believe that's very, very important. I think you've, of course, heard that from the commissioners as well, too. We believe that's really a significant next step for the Housing Authority, and we're very anxious to get that process really going and to see the outcome of that, which, of course, is a great strategic plan that everybody can get behind and move forward. With that being said, I don't have anything else on my end, and if we've gotten all the comments out, we will call this meeting adjourned. All right.
Neil, great job. I appreciate you doing that breakout, man. I appreciate that. That was cool. Thank you and Felicia for working on that. Awesome.
All right. Everybody be safe. Hopefully see you next time.
Hey, Neil.
Thanks, everyone.